Ask the Messengers, the program that deals with substance abuse, real people telling real stories. Hosted by Pastor Lester Lewis, co-host Charlize Wilkerson and Leroy Carey. Produced by David Humphreys. Where there is addiction, there is a chance for recovery. We're trying to help save lives on Ask the Messengers.
Today on Ask the Messengers, our topic is addiction, prescription drugs, and treatment opportunities. Our guest today is Lisa Kaplan, Program Coordinator of Maple Grove Community Education, plus real stories from real people.
Look at me now. Look at me now.
If you're exaggerating your pain level, you're exaggerating the situation you're in, then the doctor's gonna prescribe you more of that drug.
I was addicted for a while before I realized I needed help. Then once you start addicted, you start manipulating your doctor. You start playing him, telling him how you're feeling to get what you want, not what you need.
Don't use. That's number one. Don't use.
It's all here on this episode of Ask the Messengers. And now here's your host, Pastor Lester Lewis.
Hello, my name is Pastor Lester Lewis, and I am your host on Ask the Messengers. This program is all about real people sharing their real stories. In fact, many of them have gone through some things that they thought they may not have gotten out of, but they made it through. And so we just want to share the information with you so that you can know exactly what recovery is all about. And not only do we share those stories of those who are struggling with addiction and in recovery, but most importantly, we also interview and give information from those who are in the substance abuse recovery industry. And so we want to make sure that we're giving a holistic view of addiction and substance abuse. Today's special guest is Lisa Kaplan, and she's the program director of Maple Grove Community Education, and it is a branch of Henry Ford Health System. Now, they are located in Farmington Hills, Michigan, and she'll be discussing the topics of addiction, the signs of drug abuse, the opiate epidemic, doctors overprescribing medication. You want to make sure you tune in for that part, and programs and services offered by Maple Grove. Plus, you'll be hearing some real stories from real people as we hit the streets of Detroit to find out those true stories. Tell your friends to tune in. Now, let's go to Ask the Messenger's producer, David Humphreys, as he goes one-on-one with our special guest, Lisa Kaplan from Maple Grove, as she begins with the explanation of what is addiction.
It's a brain disease recognized in 1966 by the American Medical Association as a disease. So what happens is there are chemical changes in the part of the brain's pleasure system, and when addicts and alcoholics repeatedly overuse their drug, they overstimulate the pleasure system of their brain, and they're unable to control and satisfy their cravings. So it's not a choice, it's not a character weakness, it's not a criminal mind, it's a disease.
Do you have any idea about the percentage of people who are addicted in the U.S.?
About 10%.
An estimated 23.5 million Americans are addicted to drugs and alcohol, but only 11% of those with an addiction receive treatment.
I knew when I was addicted when my medications were running out early. I was trying to go back to the doctor, trying to say I lost my medication, trying to get them refilled early. I was asking friends and others, hey, if you give me some, I will return the favor when I get my medication filled. I was trying anything I could to get more of my medication.
I was addicted for a while before I realized I needed help. I always worked hard, so I always had money, and as long as I could pay my way, I didn't see a problem with it.
So who is likely to become addicted, and how does it begin?
So anybody, any of us are at risk of being addicted, just like any of us are at risk of getting heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and other diseases. So it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, black or white, educated, uneducated, male or female, it doesn't matter. All of us are at risk. So it begins by initial use of drugs. Now, people may pick up a drink or may pick up a joint, and they may start using, but they do not intend to become addicted. Okay? So it's kind of, for some people, they can take it or leave it, and for other people, it just grabs them. And for others, it happens over time. It might not grab them right away, but this is a progressive illness. So over time, continued use, they can become addicted.
So it can be a real sleeper.
Yes. There's so many, in no particular order. You're looking for personality and behavioral changes, changes in their physical appearance, their hygiene, looking for inability to tell the truth, catching them in lies, noticing things missing, items, money, credit cards, people, taking the car without permission, people being gone for periods of time with no real explanation. You might see people who are losing weight. You might see people who are having trouble on the job, having trouble with interpersonal relationships, becoming argumentative, difficult, withdrawn, just personality changes.
So it's not like just having a bad day. It's some things that really go on you have to look for.
Okay, so a bad day would be one day. This is an ongoing problem.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so how does drug use affect one's life?
It can totally ruin lives, and it can actually take lives. Unfortunately, people die from this disease. But the way it can ruin lives, you can become arrested and get involved in the criminal justice system. You can end up having relationship problems with your spouse, children, parents, friends, relatives, neighbors. You can have health problems. This disease can be very difficult on a person's health, cause malnutrition. It can cause all sorts of diseases, affect the liver, affect the functioning of your entire body. It can affect your employment. People can have difficulty obtaining a job because they can't pass a drug test. They can't maintain a job because they can't perform on the job. If you show up intoxicated, you might be fired from your job. So it affects so many different areas of a person's life.
Look at me now. Look at me now.
That's how you got in that chair?
No, I got shot, and the reason I'm in the chair, I went to prison, and I came out, I was healthy. But when I got out, there was no place for me to go. I'm a felon. I can't get a job. I can't do most things out here that society say I can do. But my freedom has been taken away as far as society goes. Because I'm a felon. And they won't let felons do most things. We can't vote. We can't do a whole lot of things. Vote, own a gun, get a job for the first 5 years we out. What else? There's a lot of things that goes along with you getting out of prison that you cannot do.
Okay, let's talk about alcohol. How common is alcohol addiction?
That's the most common addiction. So out of all the drugs, and alcohol is a drug, out of all of the drugs, alcoholism is the most common. So it happens very commonly among people who use, even if they've never used drugs.
So you can have somebody real young on alcohol, have an addiction as,
Sure.
as a young child,
Sure,
maybe?
absolutely. We've had 13-year-olds here who have been addicted.
Wow.
Yes.
So is it true that people can become addicted to cocaine very quickly?
Yes. So cocaine is one of those drugs that it doesn't take long. 1 or 2 or 3 times and you can become addicted. Other drugs take longer.
There are over 250 drug and alcohol recovery centers in Michigan.
At Maple Grove, we are very proud of our family programs here. We have many of them. On Tuesday and Thursday nights, we have programs open to the public for free. And we have a skill building class, which are 6 different sessions that rotate to teach family members what they need to learn about addiction, followed by a share family support group, where family members literally share their experiences with one another and try to help each other. We also have a program once a month on a Saturday morning called Are You Concerned? It's for anybody in the community who's concerned about someone else, wants to get them into treatment, and the person doesn't want to go. So we teach about how to communicate appropriately. We teach about interventions, even though we don't do interventions here. but we do share resources in the community of interventionists. We also have we have a program for adolescents and their parents. It's a substance abuse education class that we run periodically to educate them about this disease as well.
They understand my addiction. They know it is an addiction, but it has also made me somewhat, to say, the black sheep of the family. I feel like I get looked at different. I feel embarrassed. I feel worthless compared to my other family members who none of them have an addiction. I have 3 younger brothers, mother and father, and they're all doing terrific, very well, very healthy. And it seems to me like I'm the only one that just lets the family down. My father had mentioned I'm the only one that gives our family a bad name, and that completely broke my heart.
It severely affected my relationship with my family. I lost custody of my children. I have 2 sons, a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old son. I lost custody of my children. I lost trust with everyone close to me, all friends, family, brother, sister. I was pretty much looked as the outcast of the family. I was, like I said, I wasn't trusted with anything. Just couldn't even borrow money for any situation. Like, say I had a phone bill due or something, I wasn't even trusted to borrow money until I got my paycheck because they knew it was just going to go to drugs. So I was severely affected. My family was.
What made you get into this type of work?
Okay, really not intentionally. I had a part-time job. When my second child was born, I was told that my part-time job is going to become full-time. I didn't want to work full-time, so I needed another job. A part-time job became available, and I took it knowing nothing about addiction at all. And the minute I started working there, I loved it. I knew it was my passion. I knew it was something that was meant for me. And I worked at that agency for 20 years before coming here. And I just knew that this is what I wanted to do. I've always had an interest in addiction. I have read books like Betty Ford's book and Kitty Dukakis and Steve Howe, who was a Major League Baseball player who had a cocaine problem. It always fascinated me, but I never took a class in school. I never had any personal experience. I never had any family member who was addicted, so I'm very grateful for that. But somehow I was led down this path, and it was the right path. And I love what I do. I believe in the cause. I feel like here at Maple Grove we do a great job to help people, and I'm really proud to be a part of the treatment team.
As you can see, the passion that Lisa Kaplan has for her work with substance abuse and addiction, man, this is wonderful. And the work that they do there at Maple Grove, I tell you, it is so exciting to see how she is passionate about her work. Well, listen, when we come back, Lisa Kaplan will talk about doctors overprescribing medication. Please don't leave, don't tune in, make sure you're here. And the training doctors receive to handle patients with addictions. Plus, we'll have more real stories from real people.
Stay tuned for more of Ask the Messengers.
Hi, I'm Ashley Greaser, the Office Manager at Premier Supportive Services. Here at Premier, we offer a variety of services that include residential service, 24-hour residential, attended care, semi-independent, as well as many other services. So if you know of anyone that has been involved in a car accident, we are located at 17555 James Cousin, Suite 2, or you can give us a call at 313-345-3668.
Papillon Taylor offers
Audio
tuxedo
Jungle.
rentals, same-day prom wedding dresses, and mink leather alterations. Papillon Taylor also provides
Jungle.
organic dry cleaning and a convenient drive-through pickup. Located on Southfield between 9 and 10 Mile Road. Click
Audio
on
Jungle.
papillontaylor.com or call 248-557-6699.
Welcome back to Ask the Messengers. I am Pastor Lester Lewis, your host. Listen, we're going to go back to our show's producer, David Humphreys, as he interviews Lisa Kaplan from Maple Grove Community Education. Plus, we'll have more real stories from real people.
Methamphetamine, sedatives like Xanax, Valium. We see amphetamines like, Adderall, Ritalin, and we see a lot of prescription pain medications. So by that I'm talking about Vicodin, oxycodone, OxyContin, Percocet, those type of drugs. And then many times we also see addiction to heroin. So we see the whole gamut.
Now, when you look at the media and all these things on the internet about opioids, now, why is it making the news so much? Now, again, every day you see something about the opioids.
Okay, that is true. It's a huge, huge issue. It's actually an epidemic across the country. So what happens with opiate addiction? It can happen in several different ways. Someone could be prescribed a medication by a doctor or a dentist or oral surgeon for a legitimate medical problem and become addicted to them. Doctors often overprescribe. Doctors often refill prescriptions without asking the right questions. Sometimes they give too much medication, more than a person would possibly need. So people can get addicted to these medications.
I had a back injury. My doctor prescribed me prescription drugs. I started off with the Vicodins. That's where I started. And slowly they went more and more. They put my first surgery. After first surgery, I went to OxyContins. I went to the Oxys and they put me on 30 milligrams. And then I stayed on that for multiple years. I started that when I was 22.
Do you think doctors give out the proper dose of medicine?
They generally do it a little bit above, but that's to make you comfortable, to make it so it doesn't hurt. But then once you start addicted, you start manipulating your doctor. You start playing him, telling him how you're feeling to get what you want, not what you need, because you want to get that high. You don't care about, okay, I need it for this. Normally, a lot of times you're already done. You don't even need it already. You're just staying on it. I had my doctor prescribed me Roxys for 9 years, $120 a month.
120 a month?
120 Roxys and 120 Norcos, 10 milligrams every month.
And you would use it all?
Oh, I'd use them within 2 weeks.
So with having that much drugs at once, how long did it take you before it was all gone?
2 weeks. And within 2 weeks, I would have all the 240 pills gone, and I'd be out searching for more.
I think the doctors are only there to help you with whatever you're dealing with at the time, and they're only going off what you tell them. So honestly, the correct dosage to me is what they think, and really they're giving you they're only prescribing you the amount they are from what you tell them. So if you're exaggerating your pain level or you're exaggerating the situation you're in, then the doctor's going to prescribe you more of that drug. So it's easily manipulated, it's easily abused. But for the most part, I think they try to prescribe the correct amount, yes.
And over time, after using more and more, there are times when a doctor won't prescribe anymore. They'll say, you're healed, you're done, you don't need any more. So what does someone do now if they're addicted? They become very, very sick with withdrawal symptoms if they stop using.
I've become very sick. I became unable to sleep. I had cold sweats, body aches, restless leg syndrome.
So oftentimes they turn to heroin. Heroin is cheap and easy to get. It's in the same class of drugs as those prescription opioids, so it can give them the same high or the same feeling and take away the horrible withdrawal symptoms, and then people become addicted to heroin.
So we're talking about heroin. People get addicted to heroin, and sometimes the doctor prescribes drugs to get you off of heroin, but then you may be addicted to that drug. Does that happen often?
Okay, sure. So that's why here at Maple Grove and other places, there are addictionologists. Those are medical doctors who are specially trained to diagnose and treat addictive disorders. And addictionologists can work with a patient to get them off the medication in a safe way that they initially went on to get off the heroin. So it takes time. They They see them over time, but they can help them to get off those meds.
I've been fighting against wealthy pharmaceutical companies that set drug prices without any accountability. Debbie Stabenow, United States Senator for Michigan.
It's very easy. A lot of the people that I know that are prescribed prescription drugs, that they sell them they can acquire enough money to buy whatever drug they prefer. It's very easy. Like I said, I never was prescribed any prescription drugs. I was buying them off the street since day one. So I became introduced to the people that were prescribed them, that were getting rid of them, and within a couple times I was able to get them whenever I needed them.
Yeah, anywhere, any block, suburbs, up north, you can get it. It ain't just around here. You can go up north and get it. They bust houses everywhere. I thought I was safe in Mount Clemens because it was small. Then I said, when I moved to Detroit, it's big, and got 2 more cases when I got down here, so it's everywhere.
You talk about doctors maybe over prescribing drugs sometimes. Let's talk about some of the doctors who possibly do that. Now, do they get extra training for this? Because, doctors, sometimes patients are upset about the type of drugs they're getting in the amount.
Yeah.
So what type of training do doctors receive,
So I'm going to say until very recently, not enough. But I will tell you that I'm very proud to say the Henry Ford Health System is working on that. They're giving guidelines to doctors on safe prescribing practices, and they're giving training. Other health systems, I don't know if they're doing the same. I certainly hope so. And in medical schools, I hope that they're teaching about this as well. Now, I wanted to qualify something I said earlier. Heroin addiction can develop because of a doctor giving prescription pain medications. But there might be someone who's never been prescribed a prescription pain medication because they didn't have a medical problem, yet they're still using them. So where do they get them? They get them off the street, they get them from friends, they go to grandma and grandpa's house and steal their pills. They might go to an open house as a prospective buyer and say that they have to use the bathroom and clean the family out, and when the family comes home at the end of the day, they don't know who's been in their house. So anyone selling their home needs to be aware of that. So we're using pain pills just on their own, okay, without a prescription is very common. But then there comes a time when, how do you get more? Now you're addicted, you need more. They cost up to $80 per pill on the street. Who's got that kind of money?
Right.
So then turning to heroin is a cheaper and easier alternative and easier to get.
Now you're talking about how people get drugs. That was my next question. How do people obtain these drugs other than, like in the house or through the streets?
So would you believe that people can actually buy them over the internet and have them delivered to their front door? Okay.
Didn't know that.
Through friends, through family, through drug dealers. It's pretty easy to obtain drugs if you really want to.
Okay, so what treatment options are available at Maple Grove and other places?
Okay, so Maple Grove has been around since 1981, and we are the Henry Ford Health System Chemical Dependency Program. So here we are very proud of our history. We have a medical unit that provides detoxification and stabilization, and then throughout, in addition to the medical care, our inpatients obtain individual treatment, group therapy, educational lectures, recreational therapy, a lot of introduction to the 12-step program of Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous. We have special programming where we have a rabbi come in and give a spirituality lecture. We have a group of moms come in and do a presentation regarding their children who have died of addiction. We have speakers come in who are in recovery to share their story and promote the 12-step program. So we have a lot of different programming for our patients.
Both my mother and father have accepted what I've been through and the path I've come down and the situation I'm in now, that I'm seeking treatment and I'm on my path to recovery.
They know that I'm trying to overcome this addiction. I'm getting better every day. Day by day, it just takes one day at a time. I just gotta learn how to take my time and remember where I'm coming from and not to go back to that place.
Don't use.
do not abuse your prescriptions, and please try to stay away from opioid family completely. It's, like I said, I don't believe that any opioid should be prescribed as a drug for any amount of time, any amount of dosage, because no matter what, like I said, it will eventually, if you take them long enough, even as prescribed, you'll become dependent, and it is not easy to get away from it. It's very consuming, and it'll take your life from you. It can ruin your life before you know it.
I do get family support now. My mother, father, my significant other are all in my corner wanting me to do well.
We'll be right back with more of Ask the Messengers.
Hi, I'm Ashley Greaser, the Office Manager at Premier Supportive Services. Here at Premier, we offer a variety of services that include residential service, 24-hour residential, attended care, semi-independent, as well as many other services. So if you know of anyone that has been involved in a car accident, we are located at 17555 James Cousin, Suite 2, or you can give us a call at 313-345-3668.
Thank you for tuning in to Ask the Messengers. We need your financial support to keep this program on the air. Would you please send your tax-deductible donation to Greater Love Christian Center. Attention, Ask the Messengers. 18400 Schaefer Highway, Detroit, Michigan 48235. And for online donations, please visit our website at www.askthemessengers.com.
Papillon Taylor offers
Audio
tuxedo
Jungle.
rentals, same-day prom wedding dresses, and mink leather alterations. Papillon Taylor also provides
Jungle.
organic dry cleaning and a convenient drive-through pickup. Located on Southfield between 9 and 10 Mile Road. Click
Audio
on
Jungle.
papillontaylor.com or call 248-557-6699.
Thank you for watching today's show. Oh my goodness, what a wonderful experience we've had. Lisa Kaplan has just given a wealth of information. Certainly on today's show, she talked about and described what is addiction, which is so important for us to know exactly what it is. Also, how that addiction affects the family. That is not only just the person that's going through addiction, but also those family members, those who are connected to that person. But then she also kind of keyed in on how doctors are over-prescribing medication. Wow, what a wealth of information that was received today. And certainly Ms. Kaplan has such a passion for her work, and it is a blessing to have someone in the field of recovery that has such a passion for people and for them getting into the place of recovery. Well, listen, we just want you to know that our prayer is that you would find a God of your own understanding to help you in your endeavor to move from addiction to recovery.